In today's fast-paced world, managing appointments and events effectively is crucial for businesses and organizations, whether you're a service provider, consultant, or event organizer. In today's tutorial, we're taking a look at Amelia. This is a versatile plugin for your all-in-one tool for handling appointments, consultations, and events with ease. The question is it an easy-to-use plugin? Is it very good? We're going to put it to the test today and see if this tool is really good for us. Let's dive in and let's take a look at Amelia. I've already gone ahead and purchased Amelia. So in your case, I have left a link in the video description below. If you like it, then you can purchase it through that link. All right, so I'm going to go in and sign in here so I can access my dashboard. So I'm going to go in and log in. And here we can see I have Amelia Pro. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on Manage Domains so I can see what domains I have. So you can see here I have a domain which has my test website. So if you want to download it, all you have to do is to come over here to the three little dots, click on download, and this will be downloaded on your computer. So I'm here in my WordPress admin dashboard. So the first thing we want to do is to see how easy it is to install Amelia. So I'm going to come over here now to plugins and then click on add new. Now, since I already downloaded it, all I have to do is to upload it. So I'm going to click here on upload plugin, choose file, and I'm going to navigate now on my computer, and it is here in my downloads folder. Double click on that and then click on install now. So it looks like it's pretty straightforward to install. Let's take a look and see what's the next step. So once this is installed now, you're going to get an entry over here on the left side of your website. But before we can see that entry, we're going to click on activate plugin. So the first thing we need to do here before we even do anything is to enter our license key. So I'm going to hover over here, go to settings. Next, we're going to come all the way down here to activation, click on view activation settings. And then this is where we need to add our license key. So I'm going to paste it and then click on activate. Okay, it looks like all went well. The next step now is to just take a look here over here on the dashboard and see what this really looks like. So far I can see we have an update here is telling us what this update is about. Let's leave that for now. I'm going to click on close. So first things first, I really like the fact that on this dashboard we can see approved appointments, percentage of load. We also can see here the revenue. So this is the bird's eye view as to what is happening on your actual website bookings, which is fantastic. When I scroll further down here, we also have more stats. We have employees here, we have services, we also have packages and so on. So right away, what we need to do is to create employees. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to come all the way down here and we're going to look for employees. Now let's see how easy this is to add. So I'm going to go ahead now and click on add employee. All right, so we have this tab here, and I really like this because this is giving us all the information that we need regarding this particular employee. All right, so let's go ahead and give this guy a name. So we're going to call this John Mack. And then over here, employee email, I'm going to add my email address. Now over here, I like the fact that if you don't have a WordPress user, you can just come over here and create new right within this dashboard, saving you time to go into the WordPress settings here, go to users, and then coming back and forth. So I really like that. But in my case, I have my email address already. I'm going to set it there. And then I'm going to add my employee panel password. Now over here we have a time zone. I really like this because if you have, let's say, your employees in different parts of the world, this can be adjusted over here on the time zone. And this is something that is, I think, very important, especially if you're running a team. All right, so I'm going to say over here, I am in Accra, and I'm also going to add my phone number here. All right, so further down here, we have the employee badge. So this is pretty cool. We have most popular, top performer, exclusive. But if you click here on manage badges, you can actually add your own. So let's say PHP experts. Choose a color by coming over here. Now, ideally, the color that you want to add here is a color that is on your color palette. So that just makes everything look really nice. So I'm going to say add to that. And now you can see we have PHP expert. So you can also add even more. So this time, maybe this could be maybe a graphic designer. Choose a different color. Let's go with that. I'm going to click on add. All right. So now that I have this, I'm going to go ahead now and save. And then I'm just going to select the badge. So let's say this guy here is a graphic designer. Here we can also add a description. So that was pretty simple, adding our employee. But if you want to go back in and make some changes, you can just click on it. And over here now, you're going to get those tabs again. So you can see here, assigned services, you have your work hours. Now, this is quite important here because if there are times where the employee is not working, this is where you adjust it. So let's say our employee does not work on Fridays. We can go ahead and delete that, and our Friday is gone. And then let's say there's some days off here. We can add some days off by just clicking here on the plus button here. If it's a holiday, you can just add your holiday name and then give the date over here. Now, if there's special days, maybe birthdays that our employee is not working, this is where you can add the special days or even special holidays. So I really like that this goes into detail. Now, with this, it looks very, very complicated, but once you set it off, this is going to look great, and this is going to be a complete system. So I'm going to come over here now to services. So this is where now you want to add what your company is about. So what your appointments are about. So let's go ahead and do that. So on the services here, you can see we have 0 in total. So let's add a category. So I'm going to add a few categories here. Okay, let's call this WordPress Mastery. I'm going to hit enter. We can add another one. Okay, so that's pretty simple to add. So on the top here, let's add our service. So I'm going to click here on this plus button, and we are going to call this Web Design Consultancy. So notice what's happening here. So we have our web design consultancy as our service, and then here we have our category as WordPress. So if we hadn't created this earlier, then we would be having some problems. So anyway, I have here WordPress Mastery as selected, and then here it's saying show service on website. Yes, we want to do that. And then here we says recurring appointment. This is where you can make your decisions as you're creating your services. On the employees here, we have John Mack. Now notice that it's easier now for me to go in and select these because I already created the employee, which is very, very good. So this needs to be the actual workflow. So I've chosen here John Mack. Now I can go further down here and limit appointments per customer if I need to do that. But you know what? I'm going to keep things very, very simple here. Over here now we have duration and pricing. Now I really like this as well because we are just now in tab form to select all our features that we need that pertains to this actual service. So let's say for the duration here, we can say this is 2 hours. The price here can be, say, 200. I like this idea of buffer before time. So if someone books, you are going to need some time to get prepared, get ready, and so on. So I'm going to give myself about an hour here, and then buffer after also an hour. So after the meeting, this gives you an hour so that you're preparing for the next customer, which I think is very, very good here. Maximum capacity. Now you have to decide how many you could do in terms of the capacity here. I'm going to leave that as it is. Deposit payment. So if I activate this now, you notice that we now have the ability to take payments before they actually get started. But I'm going to leave that as it is because we're going to cover that in a moment. So here we have custom duration and pricing. So I'm going to come over here, and you can see here we can add custom duration as well. All right, next we have our gallery here if you want to add some images. And then over here we have some extras. I don't have any extras, but this is where you could add maybe something else after or maybe for this actual service. So let's say maybe you're selling t-shirts. You can just add here the t-shirt as an extra, and then you just add the price. So this will be optional when someone is booking. And then finally we have settings. So here we have general settings. And I really like the way this is so easy. Everything just flows. This is fantastic. So here we have our general settings. We also have our payments. So here, if we activate our payments link, you notice that this can redirect us to after what happens when someone pays, which is brilliant. So this is on site, or you can disable this if you want to. Here we have integrations. So if you want to make this like a Zoom call, you can activate Zoom here and then connect Zoom. But I will show you in a moment where that is connected. So far, this service here has everything all set up, and this is pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead now and save. So if you look closely here, we have one service here under WordPress Mastery. If you want to add another service, you can just click on here. And let's say this time, this one here is graphic design. And then you can just choose your category here. You can see graphic design is here as a category. Now, I forgot to mention that if you want to add an image, you can always add an image over here. And this can be an image from your media library. So you can just choose any image here that works. Let's go with this one here. I'm going to select picture, and boom, we have our picture right there. And then you can go ahead and add your duration here. Let's say this is an hour. You can add your price. So this is 100. And then this time for the buffer, I'm going to leave it as it is and then click on save. Oops, employee, let's add John Mack as the employee there and then save. And now we can see that we have our employees here. This is John Mack. We have our services. You can see here we have graphic design there. No one has booked an appointment. We also have web design consultancy. Now we don't have any packages, but if we did, this is where it's going to show. So far I really like how simple it is to set up. So let's say someone has just called in and they want to book an appointment. How would you do that? Well, here you can just click on this button here to create a new appointment. So I'm going to go ahead and create new. We want to give this a first name. So this is Susan. So we're going to add our email for our WordPress user here. We're going to say create new. And if they have a phone number, this is where we can add a phone number. And then the language here is US English. Gender, you can just add your gender here. And then the date of birth, if you need to add that, you can just add it over here. And then pretty much that's it. So we're going to go back over here, click on save. Next, I'm going to choose our employee here. It's going to be John Mack. Now it's time to add our date. So I'm just going to add the 13th over here. I'm going to choose the time, 12 p.m. And then I'm going to hit save. Now let's go back to our dashboard and take a look at our appointments. And sure enough, we have upcoming appointments here, and you can see it's Susan Mack assigned to John Mack, services graphic design, $100, and this has been approved. If at any point you want to go ahead and edit this, you can always come over here, click on edit, and then you can edit it. Very easy. You can add everything on manually. All right, so let's take a look and see what else we have over here. So next, let's take a look at the calendar itself. Okay, to view the calendar, you can do it by months, weeks. You can also view it by day, or you can even list it or even have a timeline, which I think is really good. Next, let's take a look at our appointments here. Again, this is dedicated to just appointments only. So again, I really like the fact that everything is separated. So it's very easy to see what is going on here. So you can search here for the customers, the employees and services over here on the appointments. We also have events. But of course, right now we don't have any. Over here, we have our employees, and we should be able to see John Mack here and the admin as well. Now, let's take a look at the finance tab. Now, here I'm interested in finding out if we have the opportunity to give discounts to some of our services or our bookings. So when I came over here, I couldn't see, like what was really going on here until I saw this entry here, which says coupons. So if I click on this, I notice now that I can add a new coupon over here on the top. So let's say this is Black Friday. We can go ahead and add, let's say black and then 50. That's for 50% discount. And then here I can add my discount amount. You can also specify the limitation per customer. So I can go in here, say unlimited, and we can also set our limit here. Maybe you want to sell 12 slots. And then over here, we have the expiration date as well. So you can go in and add your expiration date, which is pretty cool. Here on the services, you can specify which this discount code is going to be used. So for our example here, it's going to be graphic design, and then I'm going to hit save. So if anyone uses Black 50 while they're booking, that is what they're going to get, which is fantastic. And my limit here is 12. So every tab here has its own information and stats, which I think is very good. All right, so let's move on here. We have notifications. So here I'm curious to find out what sort of notifications these are. I presume these are emails and also text messages. So let's take a look. So over here, we don't have any, but I can see this is where now you can customize all your notifications. So here we have these templates, which are already created for you. Now, they use shortcodes here, which fill in what your company is about. So, for example, here, service name, this will replace this name, service name, with, in our case, graphic design, for example, or whatever it is that we are working on. But the good thing is you can go in here and customize these and make them, pretty much whatever you want. So we have new notification, we have appointment approved, we have appointment pending. So all these are templates you can go in and fix. So you can see here I've got appointment pending. It says username, appointment pending, and then this is the information that goes with it. But if you want to make yours more custom, you can also use these placeholders. So for customer, you can see customer first name, last name, and so on. And then you can just save all these. So these will be triggered when an action happens. Like, for example, when an appointment is approved, this is where it's going to be triggered, which I think is fantastic. So these are to the employee as well. And again, you can go in and customize this. But out of the box, these work really well as they are. All right, so what I'm really interested here is to see how WhatsApp and SMS notifications work. So I'm going to come over here on SMS. So this is Amelia SMS. I haven't really set this up, but this is a different service, which is separate to just Amelia on its own. And then we also have WhatsApp notifications. So this is pretty cool because pretty much most people now use WhatsApp. If this is integrated into your bookings, this is going to be really, really amazing. On the go, you can see what is happening on your website through your phone. I really, really love this. So you can enable auto reply message. So this is where you add your number, your token, and so on. So over here on Customize, this is where we have our step-by-step booking form 2.0. So these are the templates you can use for your booking forms. Now let's take a look at the settings, and this is where you add all your global settings. So here on settings, you can see we have general. So you want to go in here into each and every one of these sections here and really make your changes. So I'm going to come over here and start with general. Now on the general here, you can see we have a slide out. This is your default time slot. So you know you can go into each calendar, make changes there, but globally, this is where you would come and make those changes. Okay, so I'm going to skip that. Now, what I'm really interested in here is the payments. So if you are going to be taking payments, how easy is it to set this all up? So as you can see, we have our currency here, we have our symbol before and all of that. We can activate our card here and we can say default payment should be on site, which is what we have here. We've activated our coupon code, but if we don't need to, you can always disable it. And notice what is happening here. We also have this payment gateway. So if you want to use WooCommerce, you can just select WooCommerce here, activate the service, and pretty much you can now use WooCommerce as your main payment gateway. Now, if you're not a fan of WooCommerce, that's fine. We also have PayPal, we also have Stripe and Razorpay. So in most cases, this is going to cover pretty much everyone. Now, at this point, I was thinking, okay, so what are the integrations like and what can we integrate Amelia with? Because I wanted a situation where I could have someone booking in on our website and then I could have something like Fluent CRM taken over so I can send my own custom emails, add them to a mailing list and so on. When I was looking deeper into this, I noticed that we also have what are known as webhooks, and they can be found right here. So if you say view integration settings, so this is where you can click here on webhooks and then add a webhook. So any service that uses webhooks can be connected to Amelia, giving this even more power. But what I would have liked is maybe a direct integration with the popular services rather than going through just the webhook only. But definitely this works and it gives you greater flexibility. This is also where you come and customize your Zoom. So this is where you'd come in and your account ID, client secret, and so on. And once you save it here, it's pretty much connected with your bookings. All right, we also have the Outlook calendar here. You can go in and add your information here to link this up with your Outlook calendar. We also have Google Calendar here. So the integrations are quite a few, which is pretty cool. So at this stage, you're probably wondering, so how do we add the booking calendar onto our website? So I've gone ahead quickly and created this page. So let's add a block here and we're going to search for Amelia. And let's see what happens. So we have our step-by-step booking, we have our booking catalog, we've got our booking view. So there's quite a lot to choose from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this step-by-step. And you can see here, this is a short code. So this can work in Divi as well. So if you want to do that, you can just copy it. But for now, let's publish this and see what this looks like and then view the page. So there we go. We now have our service selection. So I can just choose it here. Click on this drop down and you can see we have our WordPress mastery and graphic design. All right, so let's go ahead and click on continue. I'm going to click here and we have some extras here, but of course I'm not going to add any of these. Hit continue. Now it's time to select our date and time. So you can see here, these are the available dates. This is where we are today. So let's say I want to choose the 30th. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I can also choose my time. So it's going to be between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. I'm going to select that, click on continue. Now it's asking me for my information. So I'm just going to leave these as they are. Click on continue. Okay, so if you have a coupon code, this is where you'd add it over here. Now let's click on continue. Now the final step here is adding this to our calendar. So we have our Google Calendar, Outlook. We also have Apple and Yahoo as well. So this is pretty much covering all the broad spectrums of calendars. Now let's click on finish. And as you can see, the payment here is going to be done on site, which is pretty cool. But as I mentioned before, you can have the payments done on the actual website via PayPal, WooCommerce, and what's the other one? Stripe. Okay, so pretty much this is done. We also have the opportunity to add, let's say, a redirect, which can take us now to a thank you page if we wanted to. But what I'm interested in here is to see how we would do this if we're using Divi. So here I'm going into Divi. So for this example, we're going to choose a pre-made layout, saving us a ton of time trying to design our pages. So for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to go ahead and just choose any one of these so that it saves us a lot of time. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this one here, use this layout. Now, entering our shortcode is very easy. I can just choose any of our text modules here to enter our shortcode. So I'm going to choose this existing one here, get rid of all this text and enter my shortcode. I'm going to save and then exit the Visual Builder. So now when we scroll down, you can see here that this is where our booking form is. I can click on this drop down here, choose whatever it is I want to go with. Let's say it's graphic design. I can choose the service here, click on continue, choose the date. I can choose my time. So as you can see, this is very, very easy to use. It can integrate very well with any page builder because we have shortcodes. And most importantly, this is a tool which is very, very powerful because you can have teams assign people to do certain consultancy services, and you can also manage the times and so on. So I highly recommend this if you're serious about taking bookings on your websites, whether it's online or offline. This works perfectly. And if you have some sort of a receptionist that wants to add all these entries manually, again, this can be done. So it's a very, very powerful tool, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It's very, very powerful. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments box below. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.